Hi, welcome to today. Welcome to this moment. We are in Lionsgate 8-8. We're going to talk a little bit about that. I did a little more research, and we also, and I'm also here with the Seven Sisters to answer any questions, to channel some light code, to maybe see what comes through. Hello, Brandy. If we haven't met before, my name is Hilary Raven Porter. I'm a Tamiana Starseed Oracle and spiritual mentor and multidimensional healer. There's never just one word to like encapsulate it all, hey? So I basically help you release the struggle so that you can reclaim your life and just live in joy and vibrancy and in the way that you need to live. Not the way somebody else tells you need to live, yeah? So this week has been like, totally raise your hand if any of these apply to you. Intense dreams. Yeah, a little bit. Maybe some sleep disturbance, i.e. hard to fall asleep, some insomnia, or the complete opposite of, insomnia and then the next day you're just like exhausted. You can pass out during the day, but nighttime's a little challenging. Let's see what else happened this week. More sounds and more beings kicking around because this portal is open. We're going to talk about this portal a little bit. Because I'm going to admit, raise your hand. I'm going to admit that there's all these power days and I feel them. Like eclipses, 8-8, there's a few others. I know them when they come. Right? There's the equinoxes, there's the solstices, right? There's Samhain, there's Beltane, there's Imbolc, there's all of these. And you can feel the power in them, but you might not know much about what's going on in them. The one thing that I absolutely love about them, one, is that there's always a cusp, right? There's always a penumbra around them. So there's time before and after these events that are powerful because we're ramping up to it. And then we're ramping down from it. And so there's still this influence and then there's that peak day, right? I love it because sessions during this time are just like amplified to the nth degree. And I love experiencing this. And if somebody hasn't worked through these times with me before, introducing them to this increase in power that's available, right? Transformation that's available because we use this energy and then we shift it towards this transformation during the sessions. So it's lovely. It's very, very lovely. Hot, cold. Welcome to our house. You like open the window and it's kind of windy out, so then it's kind of cold. So you close the window and then you're overheated because it's kind of muggy. I don't know what's going on. So let's talk a little bit here. Oh, another big one. If you have animals, you might be noticing. So Rosiekins, she might come in. I can't guarantee it. She's been passed out on the couch pretty hard. But she's just been, so Spirit Guide Mama Bear Rosie, if you've watched my videos before, you've probably seen her. She gifts Dirty Fishy, is her favorite to gift. She has a couple others. And she's just been like literally move 5 feet. And she's like, Dirty Fishy isn't close enough. And she'll wake up and grab Dirty Fishy and bring it closer to you, meowing the whole time, right? So all week it's been like that. Snuggles galore, even more than she already likes to be affectionate with, but even more interactive and just like almost insistent with it. And her little paw, meow, meow, right? She's our little familiar. We absolutely adore her. So she might come in. This morning, I was blessed from my partner, Derek Pennant, the Cosmic Messenger. He's a Reiki master, and so he completed my training this morning to my 3rd level of Usui Reiki, so Reiki master level. And Rosie was up in here bringing Dirty Fishy. We're like, looks like we're initiating 2 beings, me and Dirty Fishy. It was pretty awesome. And she was just all up. I've got some photos. I'll be sharing them later of that. It was pretty fun. It's pretty fun. Dirty Fishy's pretty proud about this new certification that they have, this next level. So Lionsgate portal. So the penumbra, the vortex that this is in, is July 28th to August 12th, with the peak being today. And what else is today but a new moon, right? We talk about energy vortexes. So this is new to me, and this is amazing. So the reason this is so powerful is because there's this alignment between the star Sirius, the sun, and the earth, which is in alignment with the pyramids of Giza in Egypt. Yeah, and we all know powerful Egypt and the pyramids. So this opens up this portal between this physical and spiritual realms. Hence, you might be experiencing more beings around, more entities, more sounds. Maybe your intuition is going off a lot more clearly. Maybe it's easier to get into a meditative state, to access your higher self. All these things. Maybe you're noticing your cards. If you're reading some oracle cards, they're responding more quickly or more clearly, and everything just is a bit easier from the physical to the spiritual realm, right? Because you're the physical and there's the spiritual. And so you're also the spiritual. You know what I mean. Okay. So this can also alter our perspectives of ourselves and the world. And it's in Leo. So Leo, just think of the lion, right? It's all grand and it's all lovely. I have it all, right? But there's going to be this rise in this awareness during this time of all of these aspects of self, as well as aspects that are grander than life outside of you as well. You might notice this current of energy coming in as anxiety, restlessness, nervousness, overthinking, that monkey mind going, going, going. Think of it like a current. So if you plugged your finger into a socket, what's going to happen? You're going to have a lot of current running through your body that your body can't necessarily process. So depending on the vibration that you are currently living in will depend on and influence how this influx of current and energy, of finer vibrational energy, will impact you, how easy it'll be to integrate, right? Also, on that note, if you're vibrating at a finer vibration, you're going to feel it differently, not just because of integration, but you're going to recognize it possibly more easily. So somebody who possibly doesn't delve into the spirit realm at all, which is completely their reality and is completely okay, they might be going along just being like, oh, there's some stuff happening. Huh. But they don't really chalk it up to anything. They just think, oh, whatever, it's another off day, right? Whereas you might be like, oh, there's some stuff happening. I'm going to harness this energy and utilize it to manifest, to create realities that I would love to see born, right? Those kinds of things. So, yeah, there you go. A little bit about Lionsgate. I was like, oh, like mind blown, Sirius and Earth and the Sun. Like, love it. Absolutely love it. So, I'm here at the Seven Sisters. So today, the Seven Sisters they're really cute. So they came in today during the initiations and during the Reiki master training, and the 4 pillars. So this was absolutely glorious. Derek cleared the room and activated it, and then I went around and activated it using the Reiki symbols that we have. And all 4 corners of this room, the mandala room, all 4 corners, there was these pillars, and they reminded me of indigenous totems. They reminded me of tiki men, of like Easter Island men. Like they just had that energy, and they were the 4 pillars of the universal life force Reiki. It's the Usui system. They're funny. So they're still here. Apparently. And they're like, actually, it's not just the Usui system, it's the Reiki, because it's all universal life force. So basically, all universal Reiki life force comes through these lovely beings, right? They're the ones that help with this activation. So they showed up today, and then the 7 sisters were standing around in an oval, holding hands and doing different motions and stuff as Derek was doing the activations. And yeah, it was pretty lovely. And then I got to practice activating, initiating, and so basically giving a bump up to Derek, right? Giving him a tune up. And it was lovely. It was just like so there's 1 extra symbol that's used regularly, and then there was 2 extras for the initiations. And so there's 6 symbols in total. And it was awesome being able to incorporate the light codes that were coming through with the initiation symbols, right? So, lovely, lovely. So, apparently I'm saying so today. If you have any questions or you have any guidance that you would like, please ask. And we can ask the cards, we can ask the sisters, ask the Butstaishkina, and we can also just see what they say. We'll start there. Oh. What's this one? So over the last while, as I've done these videos, stuff has come up a lot about this state of the world. Totally understandable, the state of the world, right? Because it's a big current. It's a big, dense vibration that is impacting every being on Earth, right? Because vibration begets vibration begets vibration, right? So whatever's happening influences everyone, and that's why it's so important for us to keep our vibration as fine as we can to influence the other direction, right? So today's card is it's all about a revolution, right? Yes, revolution time. This is transformation. Ah, yes. Okay, Brandy, we will come back to that. Consider if there is... Okay, guys. I love my 7 sisters. They're so... Oh my god. So, think if there's a specific area you would like guidance on, if there's a specific question. You could also just pull a card and then feel shouting from there as well, right? So for today, what do you want to transform? What do you want to change? Change isn't bad. Some people we'll talk to and they're like, oh no, be content with what you have. Yes and no. Be grateful for what you have, but if you feel called to something more, something bigger, something even smaller, something that feels more home to you, do it. 100% do it. Now is the time. What is this radical change? What is that thing that you are like, I couldn't do that, but you keep going back to, right? So an example, about a year ago, I told my partner, let's just say that often Derek will get the, so I have an idea. And he's like, oh no, what now? I'll tell you about one of those other ones that's coming up too. But about a year ago, I said, I'm going to take a week off a month for my moon cycle, right? I need to honor that space and that intensity and just that nature of being in the feminine body. And because I am in transition, because of my age, I'm in transition to going from into grown. And the first reaction is always, well, how are we going to do things? How are we going to make ends meet? And blah, blah, blah. And that's the thing, is it's not like I take the whole week off and I do nothing. It's that nothing is scheduled and nothing is planned to allow for that state of being. So I do tons of stuff, but I'm also able to just pull back, right? But that was a radical shift from the only way that this will work is if you push, strive. It has to sit in this box. It has to be cookie cutter. It has to be like this, or else it's not going to work. So to step out of that can be scary. So what do you feel like you're in a box? What is your box that you... I just got an image of a kitten, oh, Rosiekins influencing me, of the box, and the cat's inside, and they get the little thing, and then all of a sudden they're like, hello! Okay, well, what is this hello that you want to bring to the world? What is this radical change of like, I open the box, I'm turning this box into an airplane, I'm flying over there, I'm going to turn it into a house now, and now we're going to do this over here. What does that look like for you? Yeah? And what does that require? That requires release. going up in flames. Yeah, that requires release. That requires release of emotional attachments, particularly to physical things. So feng shui, and also just for me, what I consider just like conscious energy thought processes. Apparently I lost the words there. But if you have a ton of clutter in the room or in a space, the energy can't flow around it. Think of if it was wind, right? If even though you can't see wind, but you're like, oh look, wind, but you can see it touching things. Well, if you have too much things in the way, too many things in the way, what happens is it can't flow smoothly. Same thing with the energy within your space. So giving up the old, make way for the new. Thing is there's often this super emotional attachment to the things, right? Thing is, you've still had that experience with whatever that thing entails, whether that was gifted from a lovely being in your life, or it reminds you of an experience that you had one time, this thing that you went to. It doesn't mean get rid of everything, but something that, so I used to keep a lot of things, a lot, too many, and it was things like old shoes from my rave days. Like, I was like, oh, I love those shoes and remember those memories and all these things. And then I read this thing where it's like, take a picture. A picture takes up way smaller amount of space. You can still look at the picture and get that sense of what you were keeping that item, what that sense was when you would look at that item or hold that item. It's the same, right? And that just blew my mind. I was like, wait a minute. So I started taking pictures of certain things and purging certain things that I was like, I'm not going to use this. I don't want to keep packing this. Those kinds of things. And yeah, it changed my world. So releasing the things, right? This can also mean people in our realms, right? Revolution. You're like, you know what? I actually don't resonate with these people anymore. And that's not a bad thing at all. Or you're like, every time I go out dancing with this person, or I go out into nature with this person, it actually doesn't feel good. This person is actually, I feel the best with them if they're the ones that, I don't know, like the person that I go into nature with is actually better as my dancing partner and vice versa. Or maybe they don't fit into my world at all anymore now. It happens and it's okay. You're not a bad person. Now, how you go about it, that's where the compassion comes from, of like, you know what, this just isn't working, or let's change and see how this goes. And yes, yeah, keeping and taking space, super hard. Thank you, Brandy, super hard. And definitely, like, so I'm going to speak from a woman's aspect for a second, or female bodied, especially going through, so I'm 41 and going through these transitions, and most of our lives having been about other people, right? And not actually knowing how to say, I need this, or putting up that boundary, because you might not actually know what you need, because it's been so much about outside you for so long that it takes time to come back in. And I see a lot of people, a lot of lovely beings in the mandala room that are going through these transitions. And it's like, okay, how do I set up these boundaries? How do I discover these boundaries and these needs? I don't know. How do I discover? So that's a lot of what we work through, because without this time and this space, we can't show up. And how do we show up for ourselves and our heart and our, like, hey, this is me as a brilliant being, so that I can be brilliant with you, right? Takes a big jump. It takes a big jump. So Pasito Bakatsta, revolution. We know how that can apply to a whole bunch of other stuff happening in the world right now too, yeah? Probably. Okay, but on the personal level. This is a great card. Every time I see it, you can see all the different colors and stuff. I love this deck. Once again, it's the Tao Oracle, if you feel so called. I also have I'm going to pull, Brandy, for you, I'm going to pull from the Tao, because we have a bit of a relationship there with that. I also have the Starseed Oracle. I have a lot of Oracle decks back here, if there's another one, but I pulled out the Starseed Oracle. So if anybody else is on that wants also, if you have a question. But Brandy has asked... Yes, thank you, Brandy. It's always when I start to feel depleted, but learning. It's interesting, hey? We don't notice it until we get to that edge, and then we're like, ugh, I'm done. I'm totally done. One trick that I often share, one tool, not a trick, tool, is when you're working out your week, or you're scheduling, whether you schedule by week, by every 2 weeks, by every month, whatever it looks like, schedule in non-negotiable you time. You don't schedule in something to do during that non-negotiable you time. I mean, okay, sometimes you're like, I'm going for a pedicure. I love pedicures. But non-negotiable and non-negotiable you time. So if that looks like every Sunday from 11 till 1, that's you time. If you can only start small to begin, start small to begin. Because if you overdo it, it's like changing your diet. You're like, I'm going to take out wheat, dairy, sugar, coffee, and you're going to do it all at once. How likely is that to succeed? Not that likely. So let's make it integratable. How do we make that integratable? Small steps, right? So schedule in that completely non-negotiable you time. Be like, no, this is the me time, 100%. How to support yourself and hear your body more, your needs more. That goes back to the non-negotiable you time. So this is the silent time, right? This is the time that isn't filled with doing. And it takes time to hear your body through the noise. So to start to hear your body through the noise, you have to start in the silence. In the undoing, in the being is where you hear it. And then eventually it becomes more and more clear regardless of where you are. So I'm going to equate it to some hockey, maybe? I might get this totally wrong because I'm not a sports person. But they practice. Practice. They're like, here, I do this slap shot this way. We have these, I was going to say setups, maybe, where you're like, okay, this is the formation that we're going to take when this happens. If you don't practice it without the opponents coming at you, you don't have that muscle memory to just go there when the opponents are coming at you. Learning in a stressful fight, flight, or freeze state or a sympathetic state is not the best place to learn. So one of the tools that I often talk about with people is the aura manipulation technique, right? And it's how you adjust your aura so that when you're out and about, you're not taking on too much of what everybody around you has, but you're able to still connect. So it's not a full barrier, but it's one that you filter. And I always say, practice this at home first in the sciences. So that is my answer to you in the long form, is to support yourself and hear your body more. Start in those spaces of undoing, the non-negotiable time. Highly recommended to have a set time each month or each week if possible, or every 2 weeks maybe, where it's an extended you time. Yeah? So that means, the whole day Sunday, I call them do nothing days. You end up doing stuff. So it's not about just laying there and being like, I'm not doing anything all day. But it's listening to what you need right from the moment you wake up. So if you wake up and you're like, okay, I've got to, if that comes into your head right away, put your head back down, try again. Tune in, close your eyes, breathe into every aspect of your body, do a little scan, and be like, what do I feel like doing right now? Scan, all the way down to your feet. You're like, I feel like reading for a little bit. Awesome. Even if you say, like, I feel like reading for 20 minutes. But then if, like, after 5, you're like, actually, I don't want to do this anymore. Then don't. Now I feel like baking. Awesome, I'm going to go bake. You bake, and then you're like, And then if you don't know what you want to do, just sit. Don't fill. Just sit and see what comes. Out of boredom, out of not doing is where we find that space. And by doing this more often and just listening to what we need then and there, that's where you're starting to gain that intuition and that responsibility. It's true, your ability to respond to your body comes. Yeah. Oh, apparently I didn't flip that card back there. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. So starting there, right? And your needs. The other, and this, so this kind of pairs with that do nothing day. It depends on where you are at with the hearing your own voice in your head. There's those times where we'll be in this, right? Responsibility, right? Sometimes some key phrases come out. So the thought process where you'll be sitting there and you'll be interacting with somebody and your body starts feeling gross. So for myself, it's like, it's not digestion in the sense of like, oh, I feel butterflies in my stomach. It literally, I get this heaviness in my dantian. So that space between your pelvic bone and your belly button. I get this real heaviness in there, and I just end up feeling gross in my whole body. And that's when I know something isn't right. And most often it's because I'm not speaking. If I'm having an interaction with somebody and I'm just accepting what's happening, right? So it's switching that around and being like, oh, hey, I notice this grossness in my body. I'm going to tune into that for a sec. And it's okay if you're interacting with somebody to be like, I have to go to the washroom. Or give me a sec. I need to go do something, right? Like you find the right spot and take a moment and be like, okay, what's going on? Check into your head. The other one is I get this pressure in my head. It just feels like this. It's just like, it's too much. It's like, okay. Maybe in that moment you won't be able to say anything. But if you've thought about it, you're like, okay, I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to come back to that. Or I'm going to reapproach that situation, be like, hey, you know what we were talking about yesterday? That wasn't actually what I really thought. And I'd like to talk about what I really thought. Yeah. Okay. Let's pull your cards. So talking about how to ground and the ability to ground into the space to keep, let's see here, guidance to ground, anchor, and serve yourself so you can support others. See, that's this past week I've been working many emails on that from people about like, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I need some potions for my adrenal system, stuff like that. And I'm just like, okay, let's talk about yes, I can help you with some potions with your adrenal system. Super important. Let's support the physical aspect, but really that's just putting a band-aid on things unless you also look at lifestyle, right? It's huge. Okay, you ready, Brandy? The taming power of the small. Right? Look at this beautiful ability of the spider to create this powerful, like spider webs. I can't remember what, I read some facts somewhere about how strong they are, about like, what is it? I don't know, something in relation to steel and stuff like that. But anyways, spider webs, super powerful, super thin, super not really, how many times you walk through the woods and be like, spider web, because you can't really see it, but it has such an impact. It catches bugs can't get out of it, like, and it's so beautiful in structure, right? So this, the taming power of the small. Ready? Self-restraint. Overscheduling. Overscheduling can be huge. That's that self-restraint. When do you say no? Yin it to win it. Right? Yin. What is yin? Yin is inward, nourishing. It's the moon. It's the moistening, right? It's that coziness. Yang, I think of Aries. I think of my partner, truly, when I think of Yang. He's just got so much like, yeah, let's do it. Go, 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 right? Yang, 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 yang. So our theme in the house is yin it to win it. But so much of our culture is not about yinning it to win it. We're taught that if we're not striving, we're not going, we're not pushing, then we're not getting anywhere. Wrong. Self-restraint. Pull it back. Be like, okay, what are my first, yes, I might be capable of doing a project, but do I have the capacity to do it? So 2 parts, capability and capacity. And it's okay to say no and be like, you know what, I totally could do that. I don't need to prove myself, or I'm already maxed out. I already have, I was gonna say 5 projects. I just reduced all of mine. I'm like, okay, I'm allowed 3 projects at a time. But I think I have 5. Just 2 are long-term ones, so they're less impactful on my day-to-day. Okay, so how many? Really, really be honest with yourself about how much extra time you have, and then take that time and schedule yourself in first. You first. And then the other things. If you have to say no to some things, then you have to say no to some things. Also, schedule in some like unscheduled time, right? Careful preparations, resourcefulness. Yeah, that's to do about that. Minor impediments. Well, that can happen when we're taming something, right? The taming power of the small. When we're bringing it in, we can be like, oh, I tried. So, an example was working with a business mentor, and they were like, schedule all your blocks. Here, schedule, so you're going to do your social media posting Monday, like I could pick whatever time. So just example, Monday from 11 to 12. And then you're going to have like replying to people from 1 to 2. And then you're going to have this. And for a week, it was lovely. I'm like, this is amazing. And it totally worked out. By the second week, I was like, I can't do this. There wasn't enough flow. So you can still have this scheduling in with this flow, right? And where I found this helpful is doing your scheduling in smaller chunks. So it's not like, oh, that's what it looks like every single day for a month, because that might be too much. If that works for you, totally works for you. But if it seems too daunting, or you find by week 2 you fall off the bandwagon, then be like, you know what, I'm going to look on Sunday, see what I have scheduled, especially if you work with clients, if you're a healer or you do offer other services, put those in your schedule. If you have any workshops, be like, there's those, right? But if those take up almost all your waking hours other than eating, you need to reevaluate what that looks like. Take the lifestyle that you want and fit everything else into that, not the opposite way around, right? Don't have your business life, your work life, your projects, and then you fit your life into that, because it's not going to be enjoyable, right? You're just constantly going to feel depleted because something's not aligned with what you actually need. Yeah. Self-restraint. I know, right? Self-restraint is like, but there's all these projects. Oh my goodness. So funny. Okay. Did you need any more clarity on that? Totally let me know. If there's anybody else that would like some guidance on that, please let me know while you're pondering. A couple of things coming up. Speaking of projects, so like I said, today was activation day, was initiation day into Reiki, which is lovely. The master Reiki level, which I'm so excited for. We've been putting it off, and I've been putting it off because I'm like, it's not right. And then again, blessings for my divine partner, because literally I'll be like, so this weekend. So we were able to do it today, which was amazing. See, you know what you need. You already know, but that's why I'm here, is to like give you a little reminder, right? Something else that is coming up is one of the, if you're planning on projects or you're thinking of ways to adjust your life, if it feels like friction, it's not aligned. No matter how much we try to put it in the box that we think, you know what, I made this box, so this box is okay. If it feels like you're trying to stuff it in this box and the lid won't stay shut, or the box is the wrong size, or the box keeps breaking, or whatever, and it just feels like slogging, not that it's a challenge, there's a difference between challenge and like just hard, then it's not So I've been trying, I've been doing that for the last a little while. I always want to create more powerful programs, journeys, transformations for people. Not more powerful, but different applications of what I do to align with different people and what they may need at the time. And I've been trying to put together a program, a journey for a little while now. One is planned for next year. It's still in the works, to work through the chakras every month together as a group, including potions to go along with that. So you also get to tune into the plant medicines and the vibrational elixirs. But one that's coming up that I'm very excited about, it's currently going to be in beta testing. If you are on my email list, you will get email sometime in the next few weeks in regards to applying for the beta test of this program. I like to put out my programs initially, trying it with some people. So Derek is doing it on me, so it's Tamiana based. I will be doing it for Derek, and then there will be 2 beta test spots available. And I'm very excited. So far it's called the Chakra Scrub. I love it. And it's 7 weeks with a session every single week and working through the chakra layers, but in a way that is working on, because chakras are fractal, so it'd be the root within the solar plexus. So the first week would be all root. So the root, within the solar plexus, within the sacral, heart, all the way up, right? So it's really focusing on those. And then the next week is the next chakra, and it's that chakra within each chakra. And so it goes really fractal line through each chakra for 7 weeks, hence the scrub, right? So I'm very excited. So if you're not on my email list yet, send me a little message and let's get you on there so that you know when this is coming, so that if this interests you, you can apply. My beta tests are usually free to almost no charge. So because I appreciate the feedback. So there is feedback that's required during the programs. So that email will be coming out shortly. And also keep your eye out, because there's going to be videos. Derek and I are going to be doing videos about like what did we experience as we were going through it. So kind of like from force to flow. You can go over to YouTube, Hillary Raven Porter, and there's videos on that from a couple years ago when that journey was being born. So yeah, projects, just a couple, 1 or 2. Thank you to the Tao. Thank you to the 7 sisters, of which I am 8. And thank you to you for being awesome and for showing up and for doing the work and really inquiring into who you are to make those shifts. Sometimes all we have to do is inquire, and that helps the shifts begin. Yeah. Okay. Sending you so much love today. I'm going to go see what happened to Rosiekins. I think she's still passed out. I'm like, come on up. But she didn't come up, so maybe next time. Okay, so much love and Stardust. If you have any questions, need any support, there's still some sessions available this week, and we're still in the portal until August. So I still have sessions this Wednesday and this Friday if you feel so called to take part in this vortex that is the Lionsgate portal. Okay, talk to you soon.